Okay, go.
I'll go. Good morning, everyone. Greg Eldred from the Philippines. Good morning to all. Welcome, Stephan, this morning. Thank you very much for zooming in from your location, and we look forward to your discussion this morning. I welcome old Grumpy, the past president, Charlie Nichols. Great to see you also from Lao there, Charlie. A bit bleary-eyed, but great to see you. And V, welcome. You're our 5-minute speaker this morning. Looking forward to hearing from you all the way from Hawaii. So welcome, everyone. Ray Pape, I welcome you. You're a past club president. And what other titles were thrown at you in your swap days? Can you remember?
My age, my mind's gone, Greg. There was a few.
Yes,
you want the good ones. You want the good ones or the bad ones?
Well, let's not go the bad ones. But you did get Club of the Year with Explorer Swap, and you were you were my mentor in swap. So
oh, that's nice.
I thank you for that, and welcome this morning. Now I'm handing back to Miss Harry for the going through the thoughts for the day, and Jeremy is our thought judge. Are you still with us and alive, Jeremy?
Yes, I'm just being very quiet, mate.
Thank you. Great. Welcome, Jeremy. So, Harry, I will pass the baton to you to go through for the thoughts of the day. Thank you.
Okay, so do you want me to do my thought of the day and then pass it on to the next person, yes?
You do whatever you want to do.
Lovely. All right. Good morning, all. My name is Harry. I am running a real estate business here on the lovely Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And my thought for the day is very appropriate in regards to our speakers as well. And it's a February thought. So it says, don't ever let a soul in the world tell you that you can't be exactly who you are.
Oh, Harry.
Very good.
Okay.
That's a winning one.
I hope so. So, Yvonne, do you want to be next? Is Yvonne online? No?
No.
Not Yvonne? Anne, you're next.
Okay, great. Ann Carlson here in Colorado, Woodland Park, Colorado, with such fond memories of Australia and swap. My thought is instead of complaining that the rose bush has thorns, be happy that the thorn bush has roses.
Yeah, fabulous. Very good.
All right. V, you're next with your thought, please, ma'am.
Well, thank you, Harry. I'm very grateful to be in Hawaii and having technology support me to connect to all you beautiful souls in Australia and Colorado, Philippines, and Vietnam. This is wild and fun. My quote of the day is from Albert Einstein. For everything that is really great and inspiring is created by the individual who can labor in freedom.
Very good.
That's a good one. Raymond, you're next.
My career is my current career is walking, swimming, and cycling. And my part-time job is investing and in shares and property and running a cleaning business. And my thought for the day is success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
So true.
Beautiful. Greg,
So
you're the next.
Do I get a clap? Do I get a clap?
It's not all about you, Ray. It's about from the Philippines.
I wanted to clap.
Greg, you're next on the list, please.
That's me. Well, Greg Eldred, normally from Melbourne, Victoria. I have executive business solutions, but here I am in the Philippines working away. My thought for the day: a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. Deep.
Good one. Good one.
Did you understand
Jeremy,
that, Charlie?
I like that one. We clapped. Morning, Susan. Jeremy, you're next, please.
Okay. Jeremy Britton from Boston Trading Co. We make investing in crypto simple, much simpler than investing in stocks and shares. And my thought of the day was inspired by the alert that I got this morning that the US federal debt has hit 34 trillion. It was only 33 trillion about 6 weeks ago. So when the economy is expanding at 3% per year and the debt's going up at 3% per month, there's a bit of a problem. Within 2 years, that business would be bankrupt. Just so happens that business is the world's largest economy currently until China takes over. So my thought of the day is always have a backup plan.
Yes.
Were you having a crack at old Joe Biden?
Mate, it started a long time ago. This is still hangover from the GFC 2008 when they just started money.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello, Brian.
So Trump.
Would you like to give
Good
us your
morning.
thought, please?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I muted myself there for. I had to find a button. It's not so easy when you can't see the buttons. You have to slide left and right to find it. Good morning, all. It's Brian here with Spick and Span. We are a commercial cleaning company. My role is to make the phone calls to get the people across. Well, my boss in front of the people. This time next week, I'll be in New Zealand. I'm going to be there for 10 days. It'll be short drives and long walks. My quote for the morning is actually to do with our my holiday over there. It's sort of the 5 Ps we all understand. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yes.
Nice. Good one. Thank you. Susan, would you like to give us your thought for the day, please?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm an administrator in public health, local government in Phoenix, Arizona. My thought for the day is there is always a solution to a challenge. All you have to do is look for it.
Thank you. Rhonda, would you like to have your turn, please?
Yes, I am Rhonda Buttery. I'm here in Brisbane, and my business activities are providing the best nutritional supplements in the world that are made from food and not from petrochemicals. And I also sell and teach people how to use software. And my thought for this morning is there's always an upside. It doesn't matter what's going on. There's always a flip side. You just have to look for it.
So true. So true.
Stephen, would you like to have your turn, please?
Of course. So, hi from chilly Savannah, Georgia, on the east coast of the U.S.
Oh,
Chilly. I mean, not too bad. Not as bad as people living in Colorado right now, but still cold. Still cold. One of my favorite quotes is from Mark Twain. I don't know if you know Mark Twain, but he has some great quotes. And this is one of my favorite ones. It says, "The secret of getting ahead is to get started."
How true. How true.
wonderful. And Alex, good morning, Alex. Would you like to give us your thought, please?
Yes, good morning. I'm Alex from Christchurch in New Zealand. And my thought is you have to believe in yourself when no one else does.
I love it. I love it.
Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely. Charlie, would you like to have your turn, please?
Thank you. Good morning, swappers and guests. My name is Charlie Nichols, currently in Laos, but tomorrow I'll be back in Australia for a couple of months. I've just started an online T-shirt store, and under I've got a tagline, hashtag T-shirt philosophy. So that's going to be my label. And my thought this morning is off one of my T-shirts, and that is, I could never be a sugar daddy. I'm a diabetic.
No. Charlie, you know I'm dating your partner while you're away.
Which one?
Morning, Yvonne.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I've
Just
done a
in
day's
time.
work already. That's why I'm late.
That's all right. Just in time for your thought. Would you like to
Oh, lovely. Yeah, life is like a mirror. Smile at it.
Yes.
There you go.
Is that everyone? Have I missed anyone? I think I've got everyone. No?
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right. Well, Jeremy is the thought judge this morning. Sorry to wake you, Jeremy. Over to you.
Mate, I've got all the thoughts written down here in my Pitman script shorthand. I'm actually really liking the theme, like getting started, believing in yourself, smiling into the mirror, focusing on the rose, not the thorns. But the one that actually got me, mate, was yours. Because it was about gratitude, and so many people preach about gratitude, and it's become, I guess, with The Secret, a lot of woo-woo stuff. But one of the world's greatest investors of the 19th century, Sir John Templeton, said that was the thing that made the biggest difference in his life was gratitude. So if we can hear yours again, mate, that would be great.
You're talking to me.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles.
Oh,
That was it. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. So it's back to me.
it is back to you.
It is back to me. I should read the running sheet, shouldn't I?
Does help.
What would I do without you, Rhonda? Okay, we'll be going into our 5-minute speakers shortly. So do you just want to have a 2-minute break for a cup of coffee, quick chat before we go into V's 5-minute presentation? Do you need to get a coffee, Charlie?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
All right, well, just a quick 2-minute break. Jeremy, you're well. Anything you'd like to share?
Well, I learned from Swap this morning that if you have a glass of whiskey every morning, you live to 99.
Yes. Or a shot of vodka.
Another one of your bad habits, Ray. Another one of your bad habits.
I'm gonna go and get his
if you
shot
have
of vodka.
3 shots of whiskey every morning? Do you live to be 297?
Jeremy, tell me a little bit more about that comment you made, or the knowledge you passed about the economy and where it's going.
Mate, down the toilet, basically. So I just look at things very, very simply and look at each country as it's a business. And, you know, like, I don't know what Laos exports. I don't know what Philippines exports. I'd imagine it's VAs and labour and that sort of stuff, but that's a growing economy. Yep. Obviously, China and India are growing economies. But the US, their debt is growing, 10 times faster than what their economy is growing by. So if that was a company, like if you were thinking about investing in that company, you go, hell no. You know, if one of your friends had a company and the debt was growing 10 times faster than what the productivity was growing,
I'm on a conference call.
You'd back out pretty quickly.
So what's their debt being used for? Like, I know they're borrowing at such a phenomenal rate. So
they spend more on military than the next 10 countries combined.
Really?
So it's primarily the military industrial complex, which is ridiculous because if China and India and Hong Kong and Canada all decided to invade at the same time, then America could wipe out 10 different countries. But it's ridiculous because obviously that's not going to happen. There's not going to be 10 countries who combine together to wipe out the US. So their spending on military has been out of control for the last 30, 40 years.
War has always been their biggest industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I've heard that where war is, that's why they want wars to continue around the globe.
Correct. Because they make money.
It's still like you haven't bought cars that are made in the US. You haven't bought jeans that are made in the US. Like China is now shipping more electric vehicles than Tesla.
Yes.
One company, I think it's BYD, is actually shipping more electric cars than Tesla. But then there's like 3 or 4 other Chinese car manufacturers.
Yeah.
So,
I think you got to take your hat off to China, with what they're doing and where they've got to.
Oh, where they've come from in the last 30 years is amazing.
Well, China has
So what's
worked on
your-
a 1,000-year plan for a long time. Everybody else works on an election plan like 4 or 5 years.
So what's your, Jeremy, what's your opinion if Trump gets in?
Well, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't really matter who
No?
gets in. I mean, obviously, Trump is a rat bag because he's got so many, racist, misogynist tendencies. But whoever's like the president doesn't really matter because he's not running the country. He's not running the Federal Reserve. But what they're going to do, obviously, you don't want to go into a recession before an election. It makes everybody look bad. So there'll be more stimulus. There'll be more printing of currency, which again devalues the currency. So, and that's what the US has been doing ever since 2008. They've been printing more cash to try and get themselves out of trouble. But obviously that devalues the currency, causes inflation. Then they've got to put the interest rates up. It's a shit show. It's basically, Germany in the 1920s. It's Zimbabwe in the 2000s. You've got nothing better to do than actually reset the currency and start again with a new currency.
The United States of America is having its Pluto return, and most cultures don't survive that. About 200 years, they get to the top and then they crash.
Yeah.
Rome, well, what I find interesting is the pressure the population is under to survive, in the sense that they're not meeting their monthly commitments, they're not meeting their mortgages. And I'm generalising, they may be meeting their mortgages, but then their quality of life isn't what it used to be. And America was always known for its quality of life. So
there's 20 million people living under the poverty level in supposedly the richest country in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Can I comment?
Yeah, go.
Can I comment? I think whatever is happening in America is happening in America. I know in Victoria, I think Victoria is heading for serious trouble, financial trouble. And one of the main reasons is I got a land tax bill emailed to me 2 days ago. I think they took it out of my account yesterday. The land tax between 2023 and 2024 went up 89%.
89%.
89%. So that's an increase, 89% on the tax of last year to this year. But they also incorporated everybody that's got a holiday home in Victoria where the land is valued more than $50,000, which is everybody that's got a holiday house.
Yeah,
they're going to be slugged land tax. So they might talk about interest rates and that hurting people, but this is going to be a real whack to the economy, because that goes straight in.
You mentioned holiday homes. Are you saying there was no land tax on holiday homes before?
Holiday homes, the value of the land was over 350,000.
Oh, right. Right.
Now it was either 350 or 550, but it's brought back to 50,000. And now a woman in our block of units that I live, she has to pay land tax on her residential unit that she uses to live in Melbourne. She's got another house down the coast. It's a permanent place. But never before have I heard people paying land tax on a unit, in a block of units. Yes. But if it's not their permanent place of residence, so that's going to take a lot of money out of the economy and throw it into the government coffers.
Well, last year, Victoria legislated that they can come and take over your property. They don't even have to show ID.
They've done that, have they?
Yep, last year.
Daniel Andrews got an interesting time.
Yeah. He got what, Greg?
Well, in Australia at the moment, there's a socialist state government and a socialist federal government. And their main aim is to redistribute wealth, take from anyone that's got it. So probably by the time I get to your grandmother's age of 99, I'll be on the pension and all my assets are gone.
You'll have nothing and be happy.
So I don't think I don't think Victoria's heading in a good direction.
No, interesting point. All right, boom, boom, let's move on. Now, Charlie Nichols, would you be in a position to... No, sorry. I should read the running sheet, shouldn't I? V, I welcome V as our... Are you okay there, Charlie?
Sorry? Why did you don't need me?
I'm just concerned about you, that's all. V,
Yes.
thank you for joining us this morning, and I pass over to you for your 5-minute presentation. So welcome, V.
Thank you, Greg. And thanks, Charlie, for the clap.
Yes.
I've enjoyed your humor and your thoughts of the day. And I just wanted to say thank you, Harry, for inviting me to this special group. And Greg,
You're welcome.
I appreciate your quote of the day winning, because gratitude has been a way to keep my life miraculous.
Thank you.
Harry's quote also resonates with me, because I have been recreating myself for this last fiscal year and creating my speaking career. And I'm also a new author. My book will be soon published, and you can find my newest, not so perfect yet, but I took action website at the Comstock, like my name, .org. And I am a free, worthy, vulnerable leader, and I commit to creating vibrant peace, connection, and freedom by being present, curious, grateful, and responsible. And what if I could enroll you all into the life of your dreams in 5 minutes or less? That sound interesting? I'm going to start with something that seems woo-woo. I heard a couple of people use that term, so I'm going to just ride that wave out. And I invite you to breathe deep 3 times through your nose and out your mouth, holding a gentle smile. You can leave your eyes open or shut. I'm keeping my eyes open because I want to witness how beautiful and radiant you all are when you're observing your breath. So here we go. 1. In through the nose. Ah. 2. Ah. And 3. Ah. The secret formula for living the life of your dreams is present, which we just experienced by observing our breath. That's simple. Intention, action step, curious gratitude, and celebrating our wins. And I just, like I said, I just authored my book back in 2015 was my last public speech. Dipna Bolholt in Brisbane, Australia, invited me to speak in front of all of her people that she teaches real estate. That's how she found me. And it was my most favorite speech of all time. And it just happened to be the last one so far. And now this year, my first is this 5-minute speech, again, with my glorious Australian-based people. And I believe our inner purpose is to awaken. And we share this purpose with every person on the planet. And my book is very controversial, but I'm looking for, if you go to that thecomstock.org, you can pre-order it because I'm still in the publishing phase, learning all the tricks. But it's very controversial. It's called Me Too, but I don't mind. And I forgot to watch the time. I'm embarrassed, but I'm just going to read a quick snippet of it just to get.
Go for it.
The Me Too movement allowed victims a safe space to voice the tragedies many of us, including myself, felt shame for experiencing. Society became more compassionate and interested enough to hear our stories. I believe it was the first important step to the healing and the opportunity for collective and to become truly free. Freedom starts with liberating the true you from the prison of the mental and emotional conditioning that we've all been programmed to believe and identify ourselves as being. This book is my part in awakening and celebrating how truly glorious, powerful, and loving we really are. I've experienced hell and heaven on earth. I've created a shortcut for anyone who chooses to escape hell before the devil even knows you're there. And I guess I'll end with my quote from Albert Einstein, because we can all respect him. For everything that is really great and inspiring is created by the individual who can labor in freedom.
Good. Thank you very much, V. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, V. That was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that contribution.
Heartwarming.
I'd like to call on Anne to introduce our guest speaker, please.
Okay. And Stephan, am I pronouncing your name right?
So depending where you're from in the world, my name will have different sounds.
And
So-
how do you say it?
Well, if I really say it, French is my first language, so you'll hear it, it's going to sound like Stephan.
Okay.
But
All right.
since
Well,
I'm in English, it's going to sound like Stephan.
Well, let me do the Ann Carlson version of it. Stephan, and it's a pleasure to introduce you. And Stephan coaches striving and inspiring leaders to achieve their purpose fearlessly and increase the level of fulfillment and gain the freedom they long for so that they can boldly move forward into their brighter future. And he has helped hundreds of leaders from corporate and nonprofit backgrounds better their services in North America, in Europe, and the Indies. And he lives, I'm curious to know why, in Savannah, Georgia, USA. So welcome, Stephan.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, guys. It's great to meet some people from all over the world. When you think about it, just a few years ago, this would never happen. I mean,
I'm just
we'll
going to
call-
click them. Stephan, can you just, I'm going to mute. Would you please just unmute in a second, please? You're a bit too fast for me today.
Okay, don't want to, let me go slowly. This is my French side, so let me.
Okay, unmute now, please. Thank you very much. No,
Now you can hear me.
thank you.
See, now I was slow. So it happens, right? No, I've been privileged. When you think about it, this would not happen just a few years ago. This was just impossible, right? You could take a call, you'd have to take a 12, 14-hour flight just to meet each other. Now we're different time zones, different areas, and we can meet face to face, just like if technology is always good, right? So it's awesome to be able to do this. Thank you so much for the invitation. I was with you last year for a few minutes and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was raised in Canada, so I totally get the more socialist side of the things that you were talking about a little earlier, Raymond. So, but now in the States, living in Savannah, and I'm privileged because I get to work with different types of people. And lately, I've been helping a lot of people just trying to define their story. I like what you said, V, that stuff that has happened to you is part of who you are now today, right? It's not, we can decide to be victims of what happens to us. And obviously, that's not fun. But we can decide as leaders, whatever we do, we can determine the story we're going to be writing or the story we're going to be saying. And I've been helping leaders in the last 2 years specifically. It's funny because there used to be a form, a shape, a kind of leader, and everybody tried to model that strong personality that just came in and would command a stage, would command a room, and everybody would be like, oh, he's such a great leader. But the last few years have brought out a few different things. Leaders are not all the same. They're not all the same. We don't all lead the same way. We don't think the same way. That's the beauty of diversity. We don't need to be like everybody else. So last few years, like I said, has been a lot about helping people define their story. So what we'll do for the next 25 minutes or so is I'm going to help you define your own story. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter where you're at in life, but maybe you want a little more than what you have. Not necessarily financially, maybe not in more property with 84% tax rates going up, but maybe you want more out of life. Maybe you want, there's this longing deep inside is like, I'm happy where I'm at, but I do feel like there's something else. So there's something else in front of me. There's something more that I can still do. There's something I can bring to society. There's something I can bring to the people around me, which would enrich their lives. And if that's your case, here's what we're going to do. If you're ready for it, we'll go through 5 steps to define your story. Easy. I'm a little stupid sometimes, so I make it very easy to remember. So I've got a presentation. Hopefully it's going to work out. If it doesn't, I'm sure you're brilliant enough to remember everything. So let's try this and share the screen, see how it goes. Let's share our screen now. Okay, let's go for this. And hopefully this will work. Tell me if this is working, guys. Is this working? Okay, let's make sure I can actually change my things. Okay.
It's working.
So it's working. I'm glad it does. Technology is great when it works great, right? So I believe we can seize what's ahead of us. Some people call it destiny. Some people just call it opportunity. I'll call it destiny for the sake of this purpose. But once we decide to define who we are and how we're going to lead people, how we're going to interact with people, how we're going to react with people, then we can seize everything that's in front of us. So here's the first graph if we can get this in our heads, we can start changing the world, not the world, start changing the world around us. I mean, I can't change everybody in Australia. I can't. I don't have the power for that. I do have the power to change the people that I have contact with, because what you believe always influences what you do, which always determine what you get. So in other words, what you believe, your values, what is deeply rooted in you will always influence your actions. And your actions will determine your results. If you're not happy with the results you're getting, then don't blame the results, right? It's useless to do that. We have to look at our actions, and then our actions will always be determined by what we believe. Hey, it's very simple. If you believe that the people around you are against you, you will always act like they're enemies. And if they're enemies, the result you'll get, and you'll stand on your own, and you'll always be fighting with people around you. And then I don't like fighting. I don't like arguing. Well, maybe you could start changing your outlook on it. And maybe what you believe should be changed a little bit. So let's start with the first principle. How you define your story starts with, think of significant life experiences, because who you are today is based on a few things. And one of them is significant life experience. In my case, I remember my parents getting divorced when I was 3. I was 3. It was a big house, and it was a very, how can I say this? Traumatic event, because I remember my dad flipping the table, and I remember my mom swinging some chairs across the room. And I heard them say things that I did not understand at the time. As I grew up, I learned to understand what they actually said and screamed at each other, which I can't really say in public places without swearing at other people, right? But what happens to us in our lifetimes, those significant life experiences start determining how we will act, how we will react, how we will talk, how we will behave with people. When you think of it, your lineage is also part of your significant life experiences. My dad left Canada when I was not born. He decided with his wife, my mom, and my 3 sisters, my 3 older sisters, okay, so fortune favors the bold. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave the beautiful, cold city of Montreal, and we're going to go live in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Well, here's the thing. None of them spoke English. And they moved to an English-speaking country. So my lineage, in my case, I love adventure. And it has brought some great things that I've got to live in Canada, but now I've been living in the States for a few years. It's great. What has happened to us as family drama or lack of trauma has also determined how we're going to be reacting and acting with people. It also determines how we're going to try to seize the day, like we've always heard before, how we're going to seize the opportunities in front of us. And also the age, sometimes, as we grow older, we're like, oh, I've been there, done that. And, I'm okay with where I'm at. Well, think of it. You can still define your story at whatever age you're at. Your life ain't done yet. Like I said earlier, my grandma was still sipping her whiskey at age 99. She was still defining her story at age 90. She was trying to teach me things to learn and just grow as a fine young boy at the time. So those significant life moments are very important because they'll determine how we react. When I was age 12, I had a great leader known throughout Canada. He saw me in a summer camp and he came to me. He's like, I see some potential in you. I think you can become a great leader. And if you want to, I will invest my wisdom, my skills, my knowledge in your life. I'm 12. The guy's speaking way over my head. I'm like, what is he talking about? But, my parents raised me to be polite. So I'm like, yeah, good. That's great. And for the next few decades, we met on a regular basis and he invested in my life. It didn't matter because all that I've become today happened at a significant life experience. If you think of it, this was me at age 14. I'm sorry if you have to see this picture. I'm sorry. Green and orange do not go together unless you want to get seasick or something like that, right? I'm so sorry about it. But I was a basketball player, and this is me with my wife of 34 years now. Her name is Chantal. There's so much that has happened between the two stories. A young asparagus trying to get what life had for him to today where I get to help people just be who they can be, become what they want to become, coach them into a new reality that they can actually seize opportunities that they couldn't see before. So significant life experiences will allow you to start defining your story. What about the tenets of your life? The values. What do you value in life? What you value in life will also, like I said, determine your actions. And if that's going to determine your actions, you'd better know what you value so much, because what we value, we will be willing to sacrifice something else for it. Because what we want, really deep inside, we will make our choices according to those things. It's not our words. It's not what we say. It's not what we pretend to value that counts. Our actions prove what we value deep inside. Do we value more competencies and skills over character and commitment? I don't know. Think about it. When you meet people, maybe you're in a hiring process. Do you value more somebody that's competent, or you value a little more somebody that's a little more, has some character driven into him? I think I prefer character, solid, stable, adventurous. The skills, they can learn over time. I remember the first person I led, I didn't know what I was doing. I was clueless on it. Was in our case, the first time we spoke publicly, we're like, but we didn't know what to say. It was just okay. I remember when I met Chantal the first time, I was like, I was babbling. I was like, whoa, who is this girl? Look at those blue eyes, man. I could swim in those eyes forever from now on. I was thinking that, but there's no way my mouth was saying it. What I valued, though, is the character that she had from the people that I was hearing them speak about her. What do we value? What do you value so much? Take a minute just to write it down as I speak. What do you value most? Do you value people over process or products? Do you value wisdom more than knowledge? Do you value integrity in who you are and being one whole person that will allow you to define a story that is worth that is worth saying, that is worth just spreading around? Because what we value will determine our actions. Values are sorry about that. Values are more expensive than the price to be paid. I love this one from Burton Hill, who says, people who have no values have no value. That's rough. I mean, I know that's a little rough. But people that are like, depends on the whim of the wind, where the wind is blowing and what's happening in their lives. It's like, okay, are you grounded somewhere? Values can't just be words you say or write. It's good on in your office, like, oh, these are my values. Yeah, but to be real, to become flesh, you need to live them out every single day. That's why if I have the option of working on a process or a product and meeting with people, I'll choose people every single time. Because what we value, we're willing to sacrifice something else for it. I want you to meet Nelson. You don't know Nelson, you'll probably never meet him. He's a major in the Army. He's also a real estate agent. He came to me about 6 or 7 months ago. He's like, Stephan, I've known him because I knew his mom. He's having a picture there with her. He's like, I don't really know what I want in life. I love my Army job and I love the real estate agency that I'm working on. Both are very fulfilling, and I'm making some good money in both places, but I just need some coaching. Can you give me some guidance on where I really want to go? As if I know where he wants to go. After a few conversations, he discovered that what he valued most was making an impact in the people that could not have opportunities in their lives. Because when he was a kid, alone with a single mom, he lived in the slums. He lived in the rough area. And look at him now. I mean, isn't that like a good, clean young man changing the world around him? So we had a few discussions and it was beautiful because we took about a few hours just to discover what he valued most. And one of them was making a difference in one person's life every single day. I'm like, great. So he started writing down the names of the people he could influence tomorrow and next month, and then and the month after, and the month after. He came out after a coaching session. He's like, well, here's my list. And the list had about 100 people in there. People that he saw in his real estate business and also even in the Army. Because that's what he valued. Can you imagine if each of us knew our values so clearly that we would live out what Disney said? When your values are clear, decisions are easy. You'd be making decisions all day, just like this, easily, because you would know that what you value most, you're living out at that moment. It's me and my wife again with dear friends of ours, Benoit and Nancy. They live in Montreal. He's a banker. She is a lawyer, and are getting in their 50s, and they're like, we want to make our lives a significant one in the last leg of our journey. So they decided that after 30 years of great couple life, they'd be helping out couples around them. They wanted to make those values clear, so we worked together to get the weeds out of the way and everything else out of the way, just to make sure that they would know what they value most and sacrifice the things that they were not worthless, but didn't have the same value to it. And then Saint Benoit having this couples conference just a few weeks, and they had to double attendance because they were having it on this weekend and they have another one in 2 weeks, just because they knew what they valued most and decided to live for that. Imagine if all of us decided to live for the values that we hold on and we hold dear to. This world would be a better place to live in. I mean, that's not even a question. What you stand for will ultimately define your character, which will shape your decisions and influence your impact on the world around you. So even as a leader, as a speaker, where you're at now, it's never too late to define the values that you want to hold on to, that you want to live by. So write them, take a minute, just write them down. What are the things that you value most? Some might say money. It's like, okay, make more money to give some more. Be generous with it. Fine. Maybe it is adding value to others. Maybe it's running a business that's so profitable that I can hire people that can actually make a living. It doesn't matter. But be willing to know and live by the values that you hold on dear to. Also, a third ingredient that defines our story is how we react to obstacles and struggles. And we all know this, right? We all know struggles and obstacles. They happen all the time. Psychological constraints. Oh, we're stressed out. I'm so anxious. I'm so nervous. Those things exist. Cultural challenges. We do business with people from different countries in different time zones. We have some organizational deficits and stuff. We need to be 10 people, but I'm the only one working. How am I going to do this, right? I don't have all the money I want. So obstacles are part of life. Like they say, right? The struggle is real. If that's the case, well, raise your hand. I just want to see a couple of hands here. Yeah, if you face some struggles in your business, raise your hand. Oh, come on. See, we know struggle. That's it. I'm like, I want to be an octopus. I've seen some obstacles in my own life. How we react to them and how we see those speed bumps in our lives will determine how we're going to be living our story. You're leaders in your domain, in your field, in the place where you have influence. You guys are all leaders. And leaders always have a bias for action, not laziness. My mom used to tell me, if you want to get things done, ask somebody that's busy. Because they're used to getting things done, right? We also know that as leaders, as communicators, as salespeople, as people that influence others, the story we want to create is the one that will do what is right, despite the cost that comes with it. John Maxwell says it this way: some leaders prefer the perks over the willingness to pay the price. We can't always live for the benefits. As leaders in your field, whatever your age is, doesn't matter. Let's not be ageists here, right? Wherever we're at, doing what is right is always a good time to do so. It doesn't matter what it costs. Can you imagine there's 20 of us today. There's going to be a few hundred other more that will listen to this this podcast, but are going to be listening to this meeting we're having together. Can you imagine if all 400 of us, starting today, defining a new chapter in our story, in the new book that maybe we're writing, we decided to do what is right. Doesn't matter what it costs me. I start telling the truth with grace. I start loving people for who they are, not for what I can gain from them. How we are as leaders, our decisiveness and making a decision and sticking to it changes so many things. When there's an obstacle in front of you, are you fear limited or you're courage driven? Because we all know, we've all faced fear at one point. Years ago, I was walking in the field with my wife, just by some cliffs. There's a beautiful lake. It's just a beautiful day. And we're walking there, and far in the distance, I see this little pink piglet coming at us. I mean, it's teeny, it looks like Babe, but Babe very far. And all of a sudden, as we see Babe running towards us, I'm like, oh, is that, little piglet so cute? To finally discover that I heard a sound, and it wasn't like a squeaking sound. It was more like a barking sound. And quickly I realized it's a dog. It's a shaved pit bull. You don't know me enough. I hate dogs. I fear dogs. And all of a sudden I closed off and I did the next best thing that was important. I hid behind my wife. Sorry guys, that's exactly what I did. My wife of 5'1", I hid behind her and I panicked and I froze. When we stay in a fear zone, we paralyze, we do nothing. Obviously, we got to the car and we're okay. The people jumped on the car, it's fine. But that moment, I remember looking into my wife's eyes and I was like, I'm so sorry. I said I would protect you and I would love you, all of you, every single day of our lives. And I did not do my duty at that time. I'm so sorry about this. Obviously, it did. I make it sound way better than I actually did it because it wasn't that great. But when fear paralyzes us because there's an obstacle, we miss all the opportunities in front of us. Here's Raissa. You don't know her. She's from Senegal. She's a professional MC. And she came to me 3 months ago. She's got her business. And she's like, I'm good at what I do, but I need to be better at what I do. I want to do it in French. I want to do it in English. And I think you can help me. I'm like, okay, sure. Let's give it a shot. And here's what she said. Her words: Coach Stephan has helped me overcome my lisp fear and build my needed confidence. Can you imagine you're a professional speaker and you have a lisp? She did not like that. She was a journalist for years for the BBC, and she hid behind the desk and her typewriter, well, her computer now. Now she was front stage with the mic in her hand, and she felt belittled because of her lisp. It's when we started speaking and started coaching her, I'm like, you can't be fear bent. Your lisp, no other MC has a lisp like you. Nobody has a voice like you do. Let it shine. And this is a picture of her 2 months ago, where the Bill Gates Foundation was having a big conference in Senegal, and she was emceeing and also just interviewing Bill Gates and the president of Senegal right there. Well, 4 months ago, she was frozen by fear. She had to act upon her things. I just helped her get there, which is the beauty of what we do in life. You don't know Nicholas. Nicholas just got married. He was an engineer. Now he's a COO. And next year, his boss says he's on his way to being a VP. Why? Because he has learned to face obstacles head on and not let fear define the area where he can grow. Because if you fear people, you're going to stay alone. If you fear heights, you're going to stay on the ground. If you fear challenges, you'll find the easy path. If you fear something, you'll go in the opposite direction. And Nicholas feared his bad boss that didn't know how to lead him, and decided to take challenges face on. Take the bull by the horns, as we would say. And now I'm proud of him. I'm going to see him in a few days and be able to shake his hand and say, Nicholas, you should be proud because you face your obstacles head on. And now you won over this. Fourth ingredient, and we're almost done with this one: resilience and growth. Resilience is our capacity to withstand challenges over a long period of time. Not one day, over a long period of time. Not days, not weeks, months, years, decades. Having that daily decision to continue, even if it's not easy. To seize that opportunity in front of you, even if it's not the one you want down the line. Even if your behaviors don't always prove your worth and your values. Resilience will make you get up again when nobody else wants to stand up. My dad used to tell me, if you're getting kicked in the butt, that's not really how he said it, but if you're getting kicked in the butt, you're getting slapped behind your head, know that you're standing and you're leading people. I learned that it doesn't always have to be only that. But as a leadership coach, I've learned that resilience is you have to get up one more time than everybody else. You know this? How many times were you knocked down, guys? How many times your business didn't go the way it wanted? Your couple wasn't going the way you wanted it to go. Your business venture really didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Your sales pitch went like, it was bad. And you thought, I'm done. Elvis has left the building. I can't do this anymore. Well, resilience got you standing up one more time. And this is what growth likes through with resilience. Right? We start somewhere, we try, we doubt, we learn, we fail, we practice again, we feel lost in all of it. Oh, I think I got it. No, the struggle comes back again. But there's a moment you will accomplish and you'll get it. Resilience is the capacity to keep on doing that. Not easy. Not easy. This is a place not too far away from where I used to live in Quebec. It's called Rocher Percé, basically the pierced rock. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Over centuries, millennia, the ocean has hit that rock. And that rock, by the way, if you want to walk from one end to the other, it takes about 20 minutes. Okay? The ocean pierced that hole in that rock. I think it's about 4 stories high. We can't really see the perspective of it. But the ocean water got the best of it. You're like that water. If you persist, even the hardest circumstances cannot win against you. You're not happy with the speech that you're giving and they're not the best ones it's fine. Keep on working at it. Get a good coach, and I'll help you out with that if you want to, but let me help you out with that. And you will win not because you're the best, but because you're still learning. I want you to meet Norm. Norm was a former self-employed IT specialist. I was a COO of IT company. Norm had to face some very difficult challenges, and he had to build some resilience when one day he found out that he was sick and got in a coma and learned that he needed a liver transplant within 2 weeks or else he would die. He faced some challenges, new lifestyles, new growth opportunities for him. That's how he looked at it. And to this day, his business is booming. I got to coach him on trying to sell his products to people without sounding too salesy. It's great. He's doing great with his wife of 30 years. It's awesome. Let me finish with this one. What will help you define your story is your yearnings and passion, because you want to go there. What is it you're yearning for? Is it to gain freedom? Is it to find fulfillment in a new season when you've been a little more stagnant, maybe? Maybe you want to enhance that leadership presence, because some of you have been successful at so many things, and this world needs to know more of you. Maybe you want to enrich your communication skills. Don't give me a mic. I just want to stand. Yeah, but sometimes people just want to be better at public speaking or being able to speak for 5 minutes. Maybe you want to be inspired to lead with authenticity and impact. Oh, whatever those yearnings, don't let them sleep within you. Let them rise. Let them come to the surface. Don't wait for them to just, okay, I'll sit 15 minutes and it'll be gone. No. Until the day we die, we pass on the other dimension. We still have those yearnings we should be going for with passion, with intent. And this is what happened to Jason. He went from a guy that was behind the scene to being front stage. He's now leading a company in Canada where he gets to help about 2,000 kids and teenagers weekly, because he believes that if he helps one of these people change and get better at life and getting better at leadership and getting better in their communication skills, it can make a difference. I'm happy I got to coach him. I'm still leading the guy. I so appreciate what he does. That's him with his wife. So here's what I want to close with today. We're at our 30-minute mark. What is one concept you've learned about defining your story today? Take a minute, okay? I'll keep on talking, but write it down. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. What is a key concept that you've learned today? Have you forgotten that those struggles have made you who you are? And that if you were a fighter 20 years ago, you're still a fighter today. If you're a lover 20 years ago, you still are today. So what's one key concept that you've learned about defining your story and become the best leader that you can be and become the communicator that you can be? And last thing, what's one of those key concepts that you will apply this week? Not next month, not next year, not one day I'll be doing something about it, but that you will apply starting today. Something you can do that will help you define your story in this next leg of your journey. If you wonder what that is, I would love to be able to help you out. Okay? I would love to be able to help you out because that's what I do with people. People of all ages, of all different countries, and they just want to have a life of significance and a life fulfilled. Hey guys, you've been great. You've been great. So glad to be here. Here's what I do. I love to connect with people, okay? I'm done, I promise, I'm done. I'm not selling anything. See, I'm not even trying to sell you anything. I do coach, I do all of that. But if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn, email, whatever, I'm going to put in the chat just the 5 ways to reach out to me. Okay, can I do that? Fair enough. If there's one concept that you learned, Harry, I saw that you wrote resilience. Love it. What else? What else can you write? Just write something there that's just like, oh yeah, this is one thing. Oh, passion. Come on, Anne. Come on, Anne. Bring that passion every single day. Bring that passion to Colorado. It needs people like you. It needs people like you. Oh, wait, of course, Jeremy writes values, Bitcoin. Yeah, come on, man. Of course he's going to write that. Yeah, those values too. I know you're talking about the values of the heart, right? I would love to hear, can we take a couple of minutes, just comments? I want to hear you speak, guys. I want you to hear, I want to hear from you.
Well, thank you, Stephan. It's authenticity is not spelt right in the chat, but I went ahead and took action on it without my spell check. I believe aligning my values with action is what authenticity is. And that's what
awesome. It makes a line, right? It's like a car. When a car is well aligned, it drives so much easier. Imagine if your life, your actions, and your values were aligned, how easier it would be. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. Every single day.
Yeah. You don't have to sell anything to anyone. You just help them along their path, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's good. Thank you. Anybody else?
I like the idea of making a list of people that you value and then looking at how you can be influencing them or contributing to them on really a daily basis. And that's something that, I mean, days and weeks and months and years fly by. And if we can be a little more intentional of saying, wow, that is somebody I really value. I want to let them know that or somehow contribute to their life.
Oh, that's great. And thanks. And Nelson challenged me when he said that, by the way. I'm like, oh, I should be writing my own list as well. So now I've got people for the next few months to invest in. That's for sure. Anybody else?
The one thing I've found when people have said, what's the secret to a good long marriage? And I've said, the basis is that when they start, they've got similar or the same values. And where you haven't got the same values, it won't last. So the romance is only a small part. If the values aren't there, then it's doomed for failure.
Yeah. If I could share a quick story, my wife loves helping people out. So sometimes she's like, Stephan, let's go help this nonprofit because they're building a house to help women get out of drugs and being off the street. I'm like, okay, let's go for it. The value of living as a couple, it's always good. Thank you. Thank you so much for Alex for that one. That's so true. So true. I could go on and asking for also on and on and on. I think I'll just, here's what I'll do. I'm going to mute my mic right now.
No, you don't have to mute. All right. All right.
It's got a QR code. Fancy.
Harry, could I
Harry.
call on you to thank Stephan, please?
Absolutely. Stephan, I didn't know what to expect this morning. And you've reminded me of a lot of stuff, on the list, and very enlightening, very inspiring. I loved it. Thank you. And I will send you a message for sure.
Please do.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. I think everyone got a lot out of that. And if you find your way back to us in the near future, I think maybe we can, if we've got some space somewhere, we could continue that conversation, because I think it's vital in business. If there's no integrity and there's no relationship and there's no passion and persistence and all these important things that I think we've forgotten, we should live as a community. I think there'd be less drama in the world if we did things the right way, and just helped someone. And I'm not saying people shouldn't get paid or shouldn't be valued in that way. Money is just another energy, and I think we've got to respect that energy as a whole, not just, I'll sell you something, you've got to buy it and it's got to be from me. So thank you. Very appreciated. Very grateful.
Thank you, Harry. I appreciate your kind words.
Talk soon.
Stephan, thank you. Harry, thank you for that contribution. A great morning, great session. I speak on behalf of everyone. Thank you very much, Stephan. If I could just move on, Jeremy, could you just give a quick blurb on the convention coming up?
There's a convention coming up, April 26, 27, 28. We've got 14 different speakers on artificial intelligence and emerging technology in business. So all the things that you need to grab a hold of to make sure that you get more clients, more money while actually working less. Very exciting.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. And would you be able to let us know next month's guest speaker?
Yes, in about 2 shakes of a lamb's what's it?
Lamb's what's it?
Next.
Greg, while JB's thinking, can I get you to let Charlie have 2 second words with us as a group, just for the recording as well?
Do we have to?
Yes, please.
Apparently, I've been asked to remind people, especially if they've got the replay and they want to come to the next meeting, which will be in the first Tuesday of March, that we really appreciate it if you registered and not just turned up on the Zoom meeting, and that everybody should register so we can get a better idea on who's coming. And there'll be more information about the convention next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Back to Jeremy. Next month's guest speaker, Jeremy.
Yeah, make sure you book in for the catering purposes. Next month, we've got Keith Shaw, who's a personal development and leadership expert.
Good man. Thank you very much. Okay. on my agenda, it's coming to a close. But before I close, does anybody want to convey anything else? Anybody want to pass any words of wisdom? Okay, Charlie, I'm back to you. You do it the best. Can you take us out, Charlie?
Aha, all right then. Well, this could be a bit of a shock for our two speakers this morning. However, we have a mantra that we finish the meeting with, and I'll quickly go through it for you so that you know what it is, and then we all do it as a group. And it's, I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. And we do that 3 times, and then we finish with yes, 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 and give ourselves a hug and say, I'm special. So, are we ready, everybody? Come on.
We're ready,
Let's
Charlie.
do a little bit of a warm-up. And then on the count of 3. 3. I'm alive. I'm well.
And I feel
And I
great.
feel great.
Great.
Alive.
I'm
Well.
alive.
Alive.
And I feel great.
Alive.
Come on.
Well,
I feel
great.
Yes,
Better
yes,
than this.
yes. I'm special.
Come on.
Well
Thank
done.
you, everyone. Great meeting again, Stephan. Thank you very much for that contribution. Very well received. So thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for your work in securing speakers for us to the value of Stephan. Great job. All right, guys. I've got to go in the Philippines. I've got to get back to work. So have a fabulous month. God bless you all. See you
Thank
next
you
time.
all.
Take care.
Bye all.
Bye for
Before you
now.
go, would you
Yes.
write your book title in the chat, please?
Yes.
Definitely.
It hasn't been published yet, so maybe I should just put my,
Comstock.org, man.
What?
Write your website there.
okay.
I've
I'm
got
gonna
your
do
website.
the
I was
website.
hoping to catch the title of the book.
Yeah. I wrote to UV.
Share it
exactly,
out.
while we're
So this is my website, and then the book is Me Too, but I'm a slow typer, but I don't mind.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you
all.
so much.
Have a good week, month, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Merry Christmas, all.
Bye, everyone.
See you in
Happy New
Queensland.
Year.
It'll be nice when I get an
Bye.
assistant to do all this typing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Again, everyone.
Bye.
And Stephan, did
Bye.
you say you wrote to me?
Yes, on your website. I'm like,
Excellent.
okay. I'm
My
like, come on, it's
daughter,
all.
my daughter